Ready for the video?
I'm ready.
Let's get it.
Oh, I thought we were doing knuckles.
Changing it up.
Okay.
Present practice. What is vibing? This is Vish and
Emma.
And today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
The role of a parent.
do you ever find yourself stressed, anxious, or nervous? Well, that used to be me all the time, and then I found meditation. And now I've got hundreds of people on their journeys. I'll be soon coming out with a meditation product, so stay tuned for that. And today, I'm here with
Emma.
Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Emma. I am a single mother. I'm a creative, and I am a part of spiritual communities in Austin.
Really cool. And where are you from?
I am from Texas, just around Austin. I've always lived kind of in the vicinity of Austin.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely a rare case because
I know.
most of the people, including myself, are actually new to Austin. I'm from New
Yeah.
York, technically, and anyways, I love Austin.
Yeah, people call me a unicorn when they find out that I've been here my whole life.
Okay.
They're like, you're really rare, and I'm like, sure.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
And before we start, actually, I would love to hear from you, I guess, briefly, what do you think the role of a parent is? If you had to maybe, briefly keep it simple.
So basically, the role of a parent is to, well, raise your child. But I don't know, I disagree with the way that society kind of teaches us to do that, because it's almost like shove your beliefs down their throat and make them believe what you believe. But personally, I think it's open them up to all possibilities and let them decide for themselves, because they are their own being, right? And they have their own path.
Yes. Cool, I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
I would love to hear what you have to say before we watch this video together in the comments down below about what you think the role of a parent is. And then after we watch this and after we react and discuss this, if your views have changed or if they're the same, also comment that down below. And with that,
let's get to the video.
Sadhguru, what should be the role of a good parent in today's world?
See, parenthood is a very funny thing. You're trying to do something that nobody has ever known how to do it well. Yes? Nobody has ever known what is the best way to parent their children. Even if you have 12 children, you're still learning. You may raise 11 properly, the 12th one can give you works, you know. So, but you want to do your best. So what is the best thing you can do? One foremost thing I would say is, first thing is to work upon yourself a little bit. Spend sufficient time with yourself. Look at yourself carefully. How you are, how you sit, how you stand, how you speak, what you do, what you don't do. I think you must look at yourself very carefully, because the children are picking up everything rapidly and they'll exaggerate everything that you're doing. So, one foremost thing is, at least make yourself in such a way that you would like to be. Somebody may not approve, it doesn't matter. At least you made yourself in such a way that you like the way you are. At least that much you must do. Maybe you cannot raise to somebody else's standards. We don't know what kind of standards they set for you. But at least you must become the way you like it, the way you are. That is a must. But that will only create the necessary ambience. It still doesn't make you necessarily a good parent, but it creates the necessary ambience. But creating the necessary ambience is a large part of parenthood, large part. If you create the right kind of atmosphere of a certain sense of joy and love and care and discipline for yourself and your home atmosphere, generally they grow up. Of course, you want to provide opportunities for them. Each one of us can provide opportunities only to the extent it's available to us, isn't it? Yes? You cannot provide an opportunity for which you don't have access. You'll always do according to your limitations. I'm sure in that area you'll do your best, but the important thing is what kind of human beings or brats you raise. For that, what kind of human being are you is an extremely important part of raising children. So, if your wife became pregnant, it's time for transformation for you. Because now another life is coming in, you yourself are the way you don't like yourself to be. Definitely, one more need not go that way, isn't it? So, becoming conscious of what we are doing is extremely important. What should we teach? What we should do? I think one important thing that you should teach your children is that they learn to question everything, but not with suspicion, with a genuine wanting to know. Questioning can become a very sick thing or a very healthy process. People question because they already suspect everything is evil. This is a sickness. But the basic purpose of a question is an instrument which helps you to dig a little deeper than where you are, isn't it so? Yes? Question is essentially an instrument with which you can dig a little deeper. That's the purpose of a question. If you just bring this into your child's mind, that a child can question anything, including you, the way you are, if you allow that in a healthy way, not in a sick way, questioning things because you think something is wrong with everybody. If you bring this, the child is constantly exercising his intelligence. This will not ensure whether he's going to become a doctor, engineer, this, that, but one thing is clear, his intelligence is active. If you anyway put him through the necessary physical paces to give him a healthy body and an active intelligence, and of course some level of education according to what you can afford, and you bring him up without any sense of identity. Without any sense of identity, if you can bring him up, if you do not entangle his intelligence by being identified to this or that he's willing and open to everything, if you bring him up this way, the best possible that he can make out of his life, he will do. He may not become like somebody else, but he will grow to his maximum potential. Of course, it depends on along the way who he meets, what happens, what situations he gets into, whether he kind of comes into a spiritual space or he goes into a war zone. Where he ends up, who knows? Those things you cannot control, isn't it? But if you create an atmosphere of love, meditativeness, openness, when you're not identified with anything, naturally there is no sense of prejudice. If you bring up a child free of prejudice, in a loving, very open atmosphere, generally they do well, but there is no guarantee. Because there are other influences in the society, you don't know into whose hands they'll fall tomorrow morning. Yes? You may be doing your best, tomorrow morning into whose hands your child will fall. There is no insurance or guarantee. That's a risk that you're taking, always. But the only thing is, did you do your best or not? That's all there is to life.
So what'd you think, Emma?
I really liked that one. I think he spoke a lot of truth, especially touching on kind of what I said before about just like letting them be open to things. I thought that was really cool, and like have them question, because that's something that a lot of parents don't teach their kids because they want them to believe what they believe. So they don't allow them to exercise that. They instead allow them to look at something and be like, oh, this isn't what my parents believe, so this isn't what I believe.
Yes.
When I think it's very important to let them decide for themselves, and be open to everything, because like we said before, like we don't know, right? Like we don't know. There's no like solid thing that we can be like, this is what it is, right?
Exactly.
So to allow your child to learn that at a young age is so important, because they do absorb everything. Like he said, like working on yourself is the number one thing you can do to be a good parent, because you are their number one role model. And if you want them to succeed in the world, then you want yourself to succeed in the world. So you need to focus on that first.
Yes, absolutely. I love those points.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a similar analogy I've learned, which is when you're on the flight, first put on your mask, and then...
I literally just thought of that.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, right before you said that.
Perfect. Yeah, so it's, whether it's helping a child or helping someone else, you want to first learn how to help yourself and then help someone else.
Right.
Because if you can't help yourself, you'll barely be able to help someone else. And so that is really important to just be aware about. And it is cool because he does talk about in, I think, other videos about parenting, how you should never raise a kid, because he says that the only thing you raise are cattle. And so you shouldn't raise a kid. You should let the kid, grow naturally and flourish, and just be their kind of guidance or their support system. Now, I'm not a parent, so I can't speak on those things, but what do you think about what I just said?
I agree. I think like your main thing is really to keep them safe, because you are their protector, but it's important to not like try to mold them into what you want them to be, because they come into this world as a unique expression of God or the universe or whatever you believe in, and that's for a reason, and it's not to copycat what you're doing, it's to become who they really are. So just to create a space for them, to allow them to be able to do that in a safe and healthy way is really what the role of a parent is.
Yeah.
So
I love that and completely agree with that too.
Awesome.
And also, I mean, this other thing I learned from him was essentially the idea, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but the idea of how you don't necessarily create your kids, but you're just a vessel that allows for the creation to happen naturally.
Absolutely.
And so that implies essentially that you don't own your kids. I mean, it's just illogical even to even look at it that way. And so naturally to let go of that idea of owning and that you are my kid, so you must do this or you must do that, are things that should hopefully be avoided, as he says. And it's even for instance, as I'm kind of reflecting on this right now myself, I didn't create myself. I was created by someone else, but then who were they created by? And if you keep going back, it was, I guess, creation. And so we must never think that we own anything or anyone.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I agree 100%, because we're kind of conditioned to believe that, like, oh, you're my kid, so you need to do this, I create the rules for you.
Exactly.
But they're just as divine and unique and free as you are.
Yes.
So it's important to allow that to happen naturally, because that is what kids want to do. Like, they want to go outside the box, they want to explore, they want to they don't want to follow the rules, right? Because it's unnatural for them to do that, because they want to follow what their intuition is telling them. Kids' intuition is so on point because they aren't completely like up by society yet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's actually funny, because like I always tell people, like, my daughter teaches me way more than I teach her. Just by watching kids and what they do and how they respond to things and how they react is like, it's immensely like, what's the word? Beneficial for us to learn, because that's naturally who we are. But then we grow up with these beliefs that are placed on us, and it causes us to lose sight of that initial intuition that we have when we come here. So being a parent is actually so helpful with your own personal and spiritual development. Just watching them.
Exactly. That was beautifully put, and I think it's all about being open-minded, as you mentioned. And to kind of wrap this up, it's actually really interesting you mentioned that point, because Sadhguru himself, or Sadhguru, if you break down the word, it basically means uneducated guru, is what it translates to. And the reason he's given himself that name, as he says, is that he has learned, or basically learned how to never be influenced growing up. As you had mentioned, we tend to get influenced by these beliefs and education systems and society and so on, but he basically said that he never let anything touch him. He just was very open and receptive, but never influenced.
Right.
So it's really cool to see how you mentioned that.
Yeah, I like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So with that, I want to appreciate you all for taking this time to watch this, and If your view has changed about parenting, please comment that down below. Or if it stayed the same, that's also okay. You can comment that down below too. And don't forget to check out Emma. All of her stuff will be in the links down below. With that, make a great day, take it joyfully, and stay conscious. Awesome job.
Awesome.
There we go.
Yeah.
You did great.
Thanks.
And don't forget to check out Emma, in which, I don't know why I'm tripping.
It's all good. It happens, man.